We're the Young Indie Chroniclers podcast, and we're producing a new feature-length documentary, George Lucas, The Lost Golden Age.
George Lucas was going to do this Lawrence of Arabia scale epic on a 16-millimeter budget.
You got a chance to have the same adventure making the show as what Indy was doing.
His stuff is really quite political.
You didn't think I was going to run, did you?
I learned that when George says he wants to ultimately change or fix something, that he was going to do it.
We built a Kickstarter campaign to support the film. Late pledges are available now at Kickstarter.com.
Hello there. Welcome to Force Ghost Conversations. This podcast is your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent properties. This is your host, Anthony King, and each week I will be joined by fans, creators, and believers in the principles from the galaxy far, far away to discuss the thematical elements from our favorite Lucasfilm properties. And without further ado, it is time to gather around the campfire for some Force Ghost Conversations. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations, your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent properties. And we are back. I had pre-recorded a couple of shows over the last couple of weeks, and I am technically back in the studio. I don't know what you want to call it here. I'm in my office, my studio, one day before the release, so I'm all caught up to date in terms of all things news and all the things that have happened in the Star Wars galaxy over the past couple of weeks here, because it's been a lot. It's been a lot, folks. A thing called San Diego Comic-Con happened, and every time I think that Star Wars will have a small presence there, they evidently don't. There's a lot coming out of there. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to get into it in our Cloud City Gossip segment here before we get into our main topic discussion, which will be a prep for the next big thing, hopefully, for Star Wars, which is the D23 Ultimate Fan Event that'll be taking place in Anaheim later this month in August. And we have a guest. We have Dani from the Not the Droids Podcast back on the show, who will also be at D23. Also, I will be at D23. So, great to have the perspectives of both of us there. She will actually be at some of the larger panels later, during the convention, I guess, is better properly way to say it. It's in the evening, so it's like separate from the main show itself. So, yeah, it's going to be great to chat with her and to hear about what we're expecting. And if you're going to D23 for the first time, this is something you should definitely listen to so you get some tips and tricks for how to make the most out of your experience. But before we get into all of that, let's talk news, because there's a lot. And I'm going to start with the one that I'm just going to quickly brush over here, because it looks like there's some sort of Star Wars power washing simulator that came out, and I've had a lot of talks with people over the last couple of weeks. That's like, well, who's doing this? Who asked for this? What's the deal here? Why are we doing simulators of real life things? Just go power wash yourself. That's a thing apparently. So if that's your jam, then go have forth with it, have fun with it. Look forward to, if you want to share your experiences, come chat and win me over here, I guess. I don't know. So that is one of the news items that has had take place this past week here. So The Mandalorian Grogu is now available on digital. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, or if you want to see it, now is your chance. Go get it. And of course, the Blu-ray pre-orders are on sale now for later this month in August. So let's get into some of that San Diego Comic-Con news now. There is a new book that's coming out. It's going to be with Beth Revis, called Twin Crossroads, and it's going to feature the relationship between Luke Skywalker and Leia Organa, set after the events of Return of the Jedi, and it's going to talk about how Luke trained her. So it's going to be really cool. It's going to follow immediately after the events of the book we just talked about on the show, The Princess and the Scoundrel. And going to talk more about that flashback sequence that we see in Rise of Skywalker, and get some more insights into the Luke and Leia relationship post Return of the Jedi. So I think this is going to be some pretty required reading here as we look to when it comes out. I'm trying to find that for everybody here, where a tentative release date is April 2027. That's it. Okay, great. So yeah, you definitely in time for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. And that looks like it's going to be a great one here. So there also there's so many new book and comic announcements here. Let me try and run through them as best as I can. So there's going to be audio narrations of the audio narration, audiobooks. They go by audiobooks, folks. There are being audiobooks now for the first time for the original trilogy novelizations. That'll be coming out in February of 2027. A new book is coming out from DK called Star Wars: A Celebration. It's going to be paying homage to the franchise hitting the 50th anniversary mark. Looks like Anthony Breznican is doing a story on Darth Vader, Star Wars Icons Vader. They did a similar book a couple years back for Han, so it's nice that this is coming out from Inside Editions coming this October. Smugglers and Scoundrels is going to be looks like a young adult or kid focused comic series from Disney. Also Tales from the Outer Rim as well. Legend of Beggar's Canyon. It's going to be some couple fun kid stories there coming to your comic book stores this fall. Some more High Republic stories. Looks like we're getting some High Republic Adventures Pathfinders is coming out pretty soon here, written by George Mann. There's going to be some more kind of that Tales of the Vader and kind of those horror focused comics from Cavan Scott. Yes, almost forgot his name there. And those are coming out pretty soon here, probably in the October space there. And one of the big things that I want to note is that there's actually going to be an indie set of comics coming out. So Indiana Jones is when I say indie, and so it's going to be called Indiana Jones and the Sword of Pandemonium, and that's going to be from Jason Aaron with art by Aaron Kuder for a limited series or branded series, 5-issue limited series set right after Raiders of the Lost Ark, and that'll come out in December. I've seen some of the covers. That Alex Ross cover looks really excellent there. The variant cover on that one. So those are some big wins there, some big hits. I think that's going to be awesome. There's some big Hasbro panels there. Regal Robot had some panels there. So a lot of great different toys to be expecting in the next couple of years, especially with The Mandalorian Grogu and Ahsoka Season 2 coming out. So that was great. The Lucas Museum of Narrative Art had a little bit of a panel there, which, by the way, hey, apparently you're going to be able to watch Detours now, at least a selected curation of episodes of Star Wars Detours at the museum. So I didn't expect that to ever happen. So that's pretty darn cool. And there's some more details as well about the immersive experiences that'll be associated with the Star Wars The Experience museum exhibit that'll be kind of going around the country, starting in Philadelphia this February at the Franklin Institute. And that'll include some experiences such as going through Queen Amidala's throne room, and they'll have costumes is what I should say. All the different things. It looks like there's going to be like a carbon freeze interactive experience where you can see yourself in carbonite or come face to face with Han in the carbonite experience, and just learn more about what it takes to put Star Wars together over the last 50 years. So I've been a big fan of what the Franklin Institute does. I've been there a couple times as just a person going to the Franklin Institute. It's a wonderful museum, world-class museum. And they did a Marvel Studios exhibit in 2019, just after Endgame came out, I believe. So that was excellent. I have a lot of pictures in that, so maybe I'll share some on the social channels over the next couple of months as we get closer to this thing, just to give you a sense of what it was like there. It's a really big rotating exhibition floor space. So I know they had stuff from Lego recently, the Universal Parks had something there. Actually, I was there most recently, I think in 2023, 22, something like that, for the Disney 100 exhibit, which was awesome. So definitely don't want to miss out on this if it comes to your area. If you're willing to make that trip to the Philadelphia region, certainly up here, worth your time. So that is all the news that I had for this week. That was a lot, folks. And can't even forget that the Ninth Jedi technically comes out on August 5th now. So just a couple days later, we're going to be getting more details on that, or actually just seeing it. Oh my gosh, how can I forget? There was so many character props and costumes available on display there at San Diego Comic-Con. And one last thing that I want to note is that at the end of this month, Star Wars Zero Company will come out too, and they also released some of the voice cast for the game, featuring the return of one Matt Lanter as Anakin Skywalker. So that looks great. Game probably, the game will be fun. Looking forward to it. Gordy Hobbs doing the score again. So a lot of great stuff from San Diego Comic-Con. Seems like it was a very great and overwhelming experience for that. So looking forward to D23 because they didn't release everything, and who knows yet what we're going to experience there at the convention. So that is what we're going to talk about in our main topic discussion with Dani from the Not the Droids podcast. So let's get into that before I run out of things to talk about here in this segment here. So folks, stay tuned. We'll be back on the other side of the short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations, your home for cozy deep dives into all things Star Wars and Lucasfilm adjacent properties, and we have a big event coming up in just a few weeks here from the time of release. In mid-August, I think August 14th is the first official date. Yep, I'm getting a head nod here. Is the official start to D23, the Ultimate Fan Event. And you might be asking yourself, Anthony, what does this have to do with Star Wars? Well, Star Wars is a part of the Disney family. So therefore, it has its own place and part and pavilion at the D23 convention. And in the opposite years of Star Wars Celebration, this is really the place to go for Star Wars announcements, big reveals, big panels, all that kind of stuff. And we are here to kind of prep everybody for what we expect to happen at D23. And if it's also maybe your first time going there, some tips and tricks to help you get the most out of your experience. So we are here with a returning guest on the show. We have Dani from the Not the Droids podcast. Dani, welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations, and how are you doing?
Doing well, thank you. I'm so excited to be back.
I'm glad to have you back. And we actually met in person at the opposite D23s that they have. So they have one for folks listening. There's the one in Anaheim that's coming up in a couple weeks in August here. And then on the opposite years, because it's an every other year convention, they have something in Orlando called Destination D23, which is on a more smaller scale, yet they're getting it bigger each and every time I hear that they're doing it. That they have that, and they kind of do some similar panels and updates, but it's not as big and massive in the Orlando space as it is over in Anaheim.
For people that don't know, I would also preface they are very different conventions.
Yes.
D23 is like a convention. To me, Destination is like if you love Disney lore and the history of Disney and want to learn like sitting in panels, it's more lecture based. I would say.
Yeah. There's no choice. Like you just you get what they give you.
It's a conference. Like it's a
exactly.
conference.
That might be a better way to put it.
And just enjoy everything that happens.
It kind of is like in a conference hall too, at least the way that they had it last time. Maybe they'll do something different as they keep growing and expanding it. Maybe there's a year where it gets so big that they don't even have it on Disney property anymore, and it's over at the Orlando convention space.
At Orange County,
yeah. But for now, at least, it's at the Coronado Convention Hall over there. And this is the big one, the Ultimate Fan Event, D23, over in Anaheim, just across the street from Disneyland. And Dani, is this your second? How many times have you been to D23 so far?
This will be my second big D23. So my first time was 2024.
Okay, so last time. So we were both first-timers last time at it. How was the experience? You're more prepared this. Okay, so go into your experience last time. How was it? What did you do? What were some big highlights and takeaways?
Oh, what did I do last time? Half the time I don't even know. Biggest highlight, and if you've ever heard me speak, and even I think on the prior times that I've been on with you, it was the BDX droids. I got to see them in the Imagineering Hall, which was always very exciting for me. The Imagineering Hall is so cool because you get to see the technology that's coming.
Yeah.
I did the Percy Jackson panel. The entertainment night at the Honda Center is one of the coolest things to experience because you see all the trailers firsthand. The actors are coming out. It was very overwhelming last time because I knew what to expect, but I didn't know what to expect at the same time.
Right. So now you have a little more expectation this time. Now, I before we dive into a little further, I do want to get a baseline here for you. So do you have tickets to the Honda Center for all 3 nights?
I do.
Okay, so for the folks listening at home, there is the convention at the Anaheim Convention Center. That is technically the conference convention, whatever, D23. And then in the evening, which is something that I really like that they do, is that they have the big panels for the day over at the Honda Center, which is where the Anaheim Ducks play hockey, which is about maybe a 20-minute bus ride from the convention hall. They bus people that have tickets and all that. So it's a non-question for how to get there for transportation. They have like lockers where people can leave their materials behind and then come pick them up at the end of the night. And then I think Friday night is the entertainment one where, like you said, they'll have all different types of creators and announcements of new movies coming out, trailers for things, casting, Broadway shows. Yeah. The shows for the cruise lines.
Yep.
Yeah. And then Saturdays when they'll have like the parks panel where they'll like talk about all the stuff, probably the stuff that they announced at last D23 because they announced so much. They'll be like, hey, here's some updates.
We're going to get updates. I think I think things have changed because we also have leadership that has changed with Disney.
Also true. Very good point. Yeah, Josh D'Amaro is now in charge instead of
and we
Uncle
will
Bob
get
Iger.
cruise updates, and I'm pointing that out is because the newest ship, the Believe, which we don't have a lot of information outside of 2027, has Star Wars listed on its docket of things to keep an eye out for.
Interesting. We'll keep a plug on that one. And then Sunday is the Legends panel, where not a panel, but like just the experience of it, where people get anointed with the a concept of being a Disney legend, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm. It's essentially an awards ceremony.
Yes. Last time was a really good one for Star Wars, including Frank Oz, Harrison Ford, John Williams. This time, I think it's just Alan Tudyk has the Star Wars connection. I might be wrong.
I think so. I am actually skipping the Legends
and
ceremony.
You're skipping it.
It's midday.
It is midday, too.
So last year it was a little later in the day.
Yeah, it was like at 7:00.
Yeah.
And I think they realized that too many people were leaving
the
last time. So like, let's bump it up midday on Sunday so that we can accommodate for people that might have some flights out that night.
Mm-hmm. And
Awesome.
so I'm choosing the convention over the ceremony.
Okay. So I guess, so you've done this before. Now, before we get into what we expect, I think let's give some tips and tricks for people that might be going for the first time and what to expect. What is like the biggest thing or a couple of things that you would say to somebody as they're going to D23 for the first time? Because this is not your Star Wars celebration. This is not the San Diego Comic-Con or MegaCon over here in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
This is a whole different ballgame here. So what would you say is some of the things that you would expect people to anticipate or look out for when they're coming to the convention?
Like any type of convention, you're going to expect lines.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways to not be disappointed when you go into it is don't expect to do everything. Things are spread out. All the panels are done by a lottery system. If you don't get it, you can get standby, and it's not a guaranteed seat. So I try to pick like one big thing a day that I really want to try. And if I get anything else, I'm happy. I'm like, I got the one thing. And I just kind of have a list of like, well, that's not going to work because it's on the other side of the building. I just kind of have backups, but I don't ever expect that I'm going to get into the panels that I want.
Well, it's a healthy way to look at it. Have that one thing that you're like, it's my must do. And if I need to stand in line for 3 hours, I will do it.
Know the things you're willing to commit to a long line for. So last time I did get to go to the Percy Jackson panel. I didn't have tickets. I got lucky. I have a really good friend who is a creator, and she passed me on the way where she had just got tickets from another creator and had a +1. And I literally turned around and was going with her to this panel that I did not expect to actually even get would have been able to get to see.
That's the beauty of knowing people and the magic of what opportunities will arise around the corner, right? Because probably
and it was
made
like
your day.
Third party. Like it wasn't even like she got the tickets. It's one of her friends who doesn't do Percy Jackson stuff had the tickets and wasn't going. So it was like the third level of like being able to go, and it just worked out with our timing.
Amazing. And again, like you said, having a backup plan is important, right? In case you aren't able to get in to those things, sometimes they sell out early. Sometimes they give out a wristband, and they're like, "Hey, if you don't get the wristband, you're not here." There's a plethora of other things to do.
It's a lot. It's very busy. Just kind of know what you're looking at that you want to do, and have it in your mind. I actually put it in notes on my phone so I remember what's happening without relying on the app. I didn't have any problem with like cell phone service, but sometimes it was just easier for me to go to my notes going, oh, this is the stuff coming up rather than going through all the clicking and pages.
Yes, I agree. And notoriously, the Anaheim Convention Center internet is not the most reliable, especially when there's, 20,000 plus people also trying to utilize the Wi-Fi capacity. So there's going to be some lag on that front, and things change and update. Talent show up late. Whatever, all that stuff, like the ins and outs of a convention still happen here. But what I will also say to folks is planning is the most pivotal thing, and you also need to eat and hydrate, and knowing where all those important places where they serve food. I will say I've been to a couple conventions now. The food at the Anaheim Convention Center is actually pretty good. They bring out some food trucks. There's a couple stands within the hall itself that you can quickly get. But if you need to eat a hamburger at like 10 a.m. because you have to stand in line for the rest of the day, like that's some of the sacrifices you need to make sometimes in order to make this possible. Or make sure you have in your bag some snacks, some water, just all that stuff.
Anaheim Convention Center is very particular about bringing food in.
Very particular, yes.
Water bottles are fine, but you really, if you're bringing food in, you have to be sneaky. Mm-hmm. But most of the food they will not let you in.
Oh, fair enough. I got one with my little I think Snickers bars, my protein bars.
I usually try to carry like Slim Jims, like something small that's still gonna like not just be pure sugar.
Yeah, something that moves the needle forward of protein at least. Well, good counsel on that front too. There, so it's about being aware and trusting your body and answering like what it needs when it needs to be. People are more important than the announcements. So like take care of yourself first and hydrate and do what you need to do. But also, like, this is an overwhelming convention in many ways because it's not just Star Wars here at this thing, but they've got Marvel will have its own section at this pavilion. Avatar, I've seen, will have its own pavilion again this time around. There's the Imagineering.
Hulu has their own.
Hulu, exactly, right? Disney Plus will have its own separate thing. The Imagineering one will about like showcasing some of the concept art and miniatures for the parks, which I imagine they'll probably do the same thing again, which is have like a whole section that is blocked off and like come back on Sunday
until Sunday because
we'll unveil some new stuff here.
Yeah, they announce it Saturday night, and then Sunday they have all the models and mock-ups available to be seen.
Yeah, it's really cool, and they'll have like presentations in there from the Imagineers themselves and talk about the cool stuff that they've done recently and things that they're looking forward to.
Last time they had the costumers who did the Halloween costumes for all the big characters for the Halloween events, which was really cool to talk to them and see their process of how they created all that.
Yeah, did you happen to also see like the walking floor? I don't really know how else to describe it, but it was like that square that the guy developed and he just like walks on it.
Yeah.
And it's like a mini treadmill in place.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing this in front of me. It's right beside the BDX droids. Yeah. So it's really a blast. And all of that alone takes up so much time, plus the panels. Plus, there's like 6 different stores with unique merchandise that are exclusive only to this convention. So there's
shopping
just
is
so
crazy.
much
If you're a
going
pin
on.
collector, you're not doing anything else.
No, that's your entire task is just pin collecting across the different stores because they have their own virtual reservation systems, which are unique. And you might get in the queue, you might not.
Every single day that are different.
Yeah, and especially on that Friday, like the first day, it's always harder to get into. Like it takes longer to get into, so like you need to plan more accordingly to like get in line earlier than when the convention opens, because it's a first come first serve kind of thing for who gets in line. And usually, like the people that are scalpers will come and go buy up all the stuff. I'm like, why does it take so long? But on like Saturday and Sunday, I can just zoom right in. Oh, it's because people want those first reveals. They want those Lorcana cards, which are super popular now. You'll hear on the intercom at like I think the show opens at like 10 or something like that, and you'll hear like at 10:05, Lorcana cards are gone for the day. Sorry guys, come back next week.
Lorcana has switched to completely virtual queue this year.
Oh, as they should. I've
they're
seen the Disney
also-
Spring lines. Like, you're nuts.
Well, it was bad. They're also doing, for the first time, a CCQ, which is their qualifying championship, and it qualifies you for Worlds for next year's. It's the first qualifier. So
Wow.
there will be a full Lorcana competition going on
Tournament.
Saturday and Sunday.
Holy cow. Wow, I didn't even know this. It's.
I'm a Lorcana player. So.
Are you signed up?
No, I'm not that level of player.
I'm not that good. I just like having fun with it.
I'm not the competitive type, and my friend and I also talked about it, and it's like when it comes down to it, to play the competition it's hours long. Even if you're not, if you know you're not going to win, you're still committing like 4 hours, and I'm not willing to take out 4 hours of my D23 experience for something that if I wanted to qualify, there will be other events because it's for 2027.
True, and also if you lose, those 4 hours wasted.
You still get the consolation stuff, but for me, that's not. I'm at D23
consolation
for D23.
Yeah. And also, are you happening to fly in early to do the Disneyland Day as well?
I am, and I wanted to mention because we don't have it here in Florida. Their Galaxy's Edge show happens.
That's right. They have the fireworks show.
So we'll actually get to see that and experience that. And that's really cool. I don't know if you've heard about how they created that, but it is created in time with the other show because there's fireworks going off with the castle that they had to coordinate what was always already happening in the back of the park.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I can't wait to see it in person myself. And we'll also be able to see the new timeline for Galaxy's Edge. Like Galaxy's Edge is slightly different now over there, where they've incorporated more original trilogy characters that are walking about. So it'll be a different experience.
By sections, and because of D23 Day, that usually means we get a lot of characters we don't always get to see.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be at Disneyland. I'll be park hopping. I'll be at California Adventure, and then hopping on over in the afternoon once I've done my web slingers and Incredicoaster. And I've seen the cozy cones are down, and I'm upset about this.
I haven't looked. The Haunted Mansion overlay happens after the fact, whereas last time we had it.
Oh, it was rough. It was rough seeing that announcement, but I saw Indy's still going to be up.
Yes, barely.
Just barely.
Get it right in.
I was like, okay, I can get one ride in, and then they'll probably announce like the timeline for when the Tropical Americas will be coming to fruition over here. So I'm like, okay, I get my one ride in, then maybe have to wait a year. I can ride it over here. Can't wait for that. Yeah,
I'm actually staying longer because Oogie Boogie starts that week, and we're going to do Oogie Boogie Bash instead of Mickey's Not So Scary this year.
That's awesome, and it arguably better.
Never been, so I don't know.
From what I've seen, I would much prefer to do that one instead of the Mickey's Not So Scary, but that's a different conversation for a different day here. That sounds like it's gonna be a really fun time, and you might as well just stay there for the month too. And the Lucas Museum of Narrative Art opens up just a couple weeks later.
That one's gonna get saved for Star Wars Celebration week.
Fair enough. I think I'll be doing that too in just a couple months. It's crazy to think that August is D23, and then April, less than 7-8 months later, we're going back for.
It sounds crazy, but I will say last time was crazier because I had to go to Japan. Like this time, I'm at least staying in.
That's true. States. At least 13 hours less on the airplane for just 3 days.
Celebration's 4 days. We get an extra day with celebration.
Yeah. It's 4. You can make it a long week. And then it'll be a great time. I'm looking forward to all that. But let's talk about what we're expecting now, Star Wars wise, for D23. So there's going to be, I think, a Star Wars component, probably at least for the entertainment panel that night, Friday night. But then there's also this stuff. So there's a whole pavilion, folks, for Lucasfilm. We don't know what it's going to hold, and I'm upset that we're recording this a little early because last time, like maybe a week before the convention, they announced like this robust panel throughout the entire weekend. So now we just have these blank placeholders set for the 3 days of the convention called Fireside Chats at the Lucasfilm Pavilion, which they've said will just include conversations with the cast and creators and people who make the galaxy far, far away come together. So we really have no idea what that entails. And that could mean so many different things, especially being in the Los Angeles area where they can just call people and say, hey,
There's
drive
easier access.
down to Anaheim and hop on join the, here's the microphone, talk about this with someone from Lucasfilm and let's see what happens. So like last year, for example, or last time, I shouldn't say last year. It feels like it was last year, but holy cow, it's been 2 years. They had the whole volume there. They had the volume that was used to film The Mandalorian and Grogu that they brought over piece by piece from the set. And, I got to be in it. I don't know if you got to experience that. If you stood in line, they could actually film you in.
The line was always cut.
So you had to have been there first thing in the morning on that Friday because everyone else was buying.
You had to hit like the right time because they'll cut the line throughout the day and you're not allowed to stand around.
That's
so
right.
You have to just have like good luck with timing that you're walking by and they open the line and you're right there.
Absolutely. And then it fills up and then they're like, oh, sorry guys. So that was like the backdrop of the pavilion. And then they had like a stage where they would have people do their talks. So they had people talking about
how they had the one I caught was, I think it was K2 they had out and they were showing how he moved and had the it
was from Skeleton Crew, the K2 from Skeleton Crew.
That's right. It was it's from Skeleton Crew. I was just like, I remember watching it and I was just fascinated because you could see them controlling it and how responsive it actually is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had the whole Legacy Effects crew. They did about one talk a day because they would talk about how Queel was put together for The Mandalorian and some of the Lothcats for Ahsoka. So it was a great time with all that. And then, of course, Doug Chiang had his own panel. They had people from ILM talk about the volume. That was like the first thing every day was they reoriented everybody to the volume and how it works and the capabilities of it. And I just thought that was a great way to really overcome the skepticism I think a lot of people have with the volume. That's usually in the podcasting space. I'll hear like, oh, like, it's on the volume. I could see where it was and wasn't. I'm like, oh, well, he did a whole exercise of here, play the game, guess where the reel is and where it stops. And then everyone got it wrong every time, which I thought was so cool. Vanessa Marshall did a whole conversation about and the animated stuff, and we didn't even know Maul was in the future at that point in time, so who knows what could come with that. And Manny Jacinto was arguably the biggest panel of the entire thing. So especially after the Acolyte just come out, a week later it would be canceled. We didn't know that at the time. It was pretty gnarly. But yeah, it was a great time, and that was one aspect of it. But there's also going to be a drop screening for a thing that's going to be happening officially on Disney Plus in September. But apparently there's going to be a whole Lego Star Wars Mandalorian about the first 3 seasons in the Lego capacity format that they're going to have a screening for at D23. And there's also going to be a slight panel about kind of how they brought together some of the Grogu merchandise for Hasbro.
I think I don't know if have you seen the ad for the new Grogu that's releasing?
I have not, no.
You need to look it up. I think it's specifically about that animatronic that's dropping and is very lifelike.
Really? That sounds great.
Yeah, it popped up. I didn't realize there had been like footage out about it yet, and I popped up and I saw it and I went, I bet that's what that panel is going to be discussing is that specific Grogu toy.
Well, like I was saying, like they have these fireside chats at they're like 10, 12, 2 every day. And that 10 o'clock one, I'm like, is it the same one every day to like reorient everybody? Because like, if I can miss the Saturday and Sunday one, so I can go to the screening, so I can go to the Grogu animatronic panel, like those would be ideal. But if they're like bringing out like, I don't know, let's say a Rosario Dawson, a Hayden Christensen, so on and so forth, to come and talk about their roles and maybe some upcoming Star Wars that's coming out, then I got to pick and choose my battles here. Plus, I saw there's Chopper meet and greets. I
have to meet Chopper.
Chopper and R2. Yeah, they're both a meet and greet together.
I love R2. I've met R2 a lot. I have to meet Chopper.
I know. He's the big guy, which I assume is the one that they're using for filming for Ahsoka. So it's crazy. So I guess the question is for you, Dani, who do you think could potentially make up these fireside chats, assuming that they will not tell us until maybe 2 days beforehand?
I am nervous about some things.
Okay.
Because there is no big Star Wars panel outside of the screening, it makes me nervous with the pushback of Ahsoka. That, because we don't really have a date yet, I'm wondering if it's going to run along how Andor ran for Star Wars Celebration and we don't actually get any information at D23. And then we get a panel and get to view the first episode at Celebration. This is my fear as an Ahsoka lover. And I was like, as soon as I saw she didn't have a panel for the show, I was like, I don't know that we're actually going to get Ahsoka material. We might get, because we've had a little bit of like teaser photos and stuff dropping from Starfighter. I think we will get, that is more likely than Ahsoka, in my opinion, show-wise.
Got it. Okay. So do you think like some of the...
That's my theory that I don't want to happen, but I'm afraid it might be more realistic because we really haven't had any photo drops or anything from Ahsoka season 2.
That's fair. So you don't think that any of the fireside chats will encompass some of the Ahsoka cast and crew? I
hope so. It might, maybe with like creatures again, because we have our Loth kittens coming.
Could you imagine?
But because of the delay, it makes me nervous that they're not going to want to spoil any information. And with Celebration also being in like essentially it's a different year number, but it's essentially the same year. It's months apart.
If you think about school years, it's the same school year.
Yeah. It makes me nervous that they're going to hold the big Star Wars announcements for Celebration since it's also in LA during a big anniversary year.
So are you, for the D23 of it all, are you also concerned that like they wouldn't do that because it would get lost in the sauce, so to speak, with all the other Disney announcements? So like if they announce like a Toy Story 6, an Incredibles 3 trailer, like it's just one more Star Wars thing added into the...
I don't think, because when they dropped everything, it kind of came... were you at the Honda Center last year?
Unfortunately, no. I've not been able to get Honda Center tickets.
So what they kind of did, it kind of dropped in sections, I would say. So like... all the Marvel stuff dropped together. So like you had the Disney animated section, you had the Marvel section, you had the Broadway section.
Yeah.
So they kind of like kept their like IP umbrellas all dropping together. So I think we may get a Starfighter trailer. I think
so?
Of Ahsoka and Starfighter, I think that's the more likely scenario.
Okay. I would actually say the adverse there. I think maybe they drop an Ahsoka trailer versus the Starfighter one.
I would love an Ahsoka trailer. I love Ahsoka.
Just because, again, I think they don't want to get the Starfighter lost in this, because with the underperforming of the Mandalorian and Grogu, they're probably like, we need Starfighter to have its own day in the sun. And like that's why they dropped the Doomsday trailer before San Diego Comic-Con, which they could have easily waited a week and dropped it there. But with everything else that also gets announced at San Diego Comic-Con, they're like, this needs to own and dominate the conversation.
The only thing is we don't get a full trailer. I think we get a teaser because release date is May.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, certainly. I think maybe like some still images, but also I'm forgetting the fact that they could easily just tell everyone to put their phones away.
Oh no,
and show some images. Yeah. So like for the people,
that's how the panels are. The panels are very strict about photo taking, and Destination was like this. If there is anything on the screen that is like Disney owned, you cannot be taking photos. You can't be taking video. Now, when everyone's talking, as long as there's not images up on the screen, they're fine with it. But as soon as something pops up on that screen, they're done. Like they are watching for the cameras. They're watching for all that information.
It's very strict, and you don't want to get on Disney's bad side.
Yeah. And it will get you kicked out.
That is the enemy you do not want to make.
Yeah, like you can't live stream, and they will get it pulled down. Like if you put stuff on Instagram, it'll be pulled down in moments because they're watching for it during these events.
Right. So what do you think? Sorry, go ahead.
I think we're going to get some announcements for what's next in Star Wars.
Do you think maybe a mall could be on the table there? Maybe some thoughts and images on Maul Season 2?
I think so. I think one of the fireside chats, because it releases right before The Ninth Jedi.
Yes. Well,
because it comes out the 12th. It comes out that Wednesday. Oh. I'm wondering if we're going to get some creativity behind that and where that's going with Visions and all, since that is an expanded story and we get the Ninth Jedi right before.
That's a good point. And I got to imagine whoever's behind the Lego Star Wars Mandalorian is probably primed to come over and talk about the project that they put together.
It would make sense that happens because that's how Celebration kind of does it. They're like, if you see someone in a panel, they're going to end up in the little chats on main stage that day. Like it's just like a known thing that happens.
Yeah, and I got to imagine the Hasbro team is probably coming on over to talk about
we're probably getting some Lego and some Hasbro information on there.
Those are at least two of them. And then
because of that, I think they will be different. I'm curious, like if they have a technology they're going to bring out where it's the same for the like first one every morning.
Mm-hmm.
But the description does not really give us.
They hold it to their chest because they didn't even announce that they were doing anything by this point last time. And then they just randomly, like a week before, was like, hey, we're having all this robust programming at the pavilion. Come check it out.
Yep.
Because I had a whole different game plan for my D23 experience up until then. And I was like, well, I guess I'm ripping up that schedule that I had created for myself. I guess I'm doing something else now. So it'll be exciting and interesting. And I'm looking forward to all that it has to offer. Because who knows, frankly, because we're getting into this unknown era of Star Wars. Like you talked about the new Disney leadership, but we also have new leadership at Lucasfilm with Dave Filoni and Lin Brenwin taking over. So who knows what really it could entail. Like, it is a Lucasfilm pavilion too. That's very much how they say it. So like, it's not the Star Wars pavilion. They could have Indiana Jones stuff. They could have Willow technically. They could have so much more beyond that.
I'm curious that I feel like it might stay Star Wars. This is how the description reads for every single one. It says Lucasfilm presents an exciting array of photo ops, props, and costumes from a galaxy far, far away. Join us for a fireside chat with the teams behind your favorite Star Wars shows and movies. And that's all the information we have on these 9 chats that will happen throughout the entire weekend.
So meet and greets, that's going to be a Nubs. Nubs is coming out again. But the cast and characters is really the interesting aspect to me.
It's so big.
Because what does that entail? Is that Jon Favreau coming out talking about stuff? Is it Dave coming out to talk about stuff? Is it ILM folks coming out and talking about the stuff that they've done recently? Could it be Ahsoka people? Is Ryan Gosling coming out?
I'm curious because last time ILM was listed as ILM.
Yeah. And they were very much involved with all of that. So honestly, and the fact that it utilizes reservations too, you're like, oh, what could it be? What does it mean? I just need them to tell me.
And how does standby going to look? I think the reservations is a better way to do it.
Yeah, but if you miss out, then
yeah.
Well, it's going to be a fun time for sure, and I hope that as we get closer to that, they actually tell us, hey, this is what each one is going to be individually.
I hope so because that helps me plan better for what I
help. Exactly. Well, I will say too, I'm glad they're done at 2:30. Like that's the last one, regardless of if you get in or not, because there's so much more to D23 than just Star Wars. And as much as we're fans of the galaxy far, far away, I want to go check out the National Geographic pavilion that they've got going on over there.
One of my favorite panels last year was actually a National Geographic panel.
See?
And they did it was the Hulu show they did about deep diving, and it was so cool because they had the actual scientists from the show that they did.
Amazing. And it's a cool show floor to walk around too. There's
so much to do, even the stuff that you don't think you like I'm not a big F1 person, but Mickey and Minnie are going to be out in their racing gear.
Get that photo op. And
there are a lot of exclusives. There's so much happening. And this week, I don't know if you've noticed the uptick as people are Loungefly dropped all their D23 exclusives today on separate posts. So they're all floating out there.
Absolutely. It's great. It's great stuff. It's one of the best conventions. It's well run, from a standpoint of being to a few conventions and seeing how the logistics operate. They've got it down to a T, which I think is the benefit of it being in-house at Disney rather than Lucasfilm gives it to ReedPop and lets them run wild with it.
And they're doing what they can to try to minimize scalpers.
Absolutely. They do what they can. Hard. It is hard, and you know, I can imagine the logistical nightmare it is to like bus people over to the Honda Center and back and forth and have the lockers for everybody. But they just, it feels like it's a well operating machine over there. Like I have no concern with how it's going to run. I'm excited for it. This is one of the best conventions out there.
It's one of my favorite.
So folks, this is frankly, those are the only two you need. Is this and Celebration every other year. Like this, they're very well run, well operated things. You're going to have a great time. There's always something around the corner to do that's different.
You're also going to leave with a lot of free stuff.
You get too much free stuff, if you ask me. Like,
I had so much stuff, and I was like, I didn't buy anything, and I had so much stuff out of it.
No, I'll tell you what, that lug bag that they gave us at Destination D23, we're using that every weekend, basically, to like go from spot to spot. Like that's a steal there. And all the experiences, right? You never know who you're going to run into on the show floor. Some cool thing just pops up that you're like, oh, let me check that out. And, you know, I remember last time they had the Hulu like pavilion kind of thing or Disney Plus, and it was just like all like stand-in pop-up spaces to experience your thing. I'm looking at the
map right now. They have that section and a Disney Hulu theater right next to it.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. There's so much to do. So many fun things.
Cosplay's amazing.
Cosplay, yeah, it's great. The convention center rocks, and they know what they're doing over there. So many different food options, and accessibility is really high over there for anybody. It's a great show. So I see that, you know, these afternoon tickets that they're really touting about are still available for folks if you're trying to get in after 2:00 or 3:00 whenever they open up again. So it's still a chance to get into the show if you really want to. Yeah. And they have some evening, like they're extending like I'm conflicted a little bit here because I was planning on leaving at like 5 or 6 or so to go eat dinner somewhere as everyone's going to the Honda Center to do the stuff, which is like, oh, that's kind of the benefit. It's like I get to maybe go to downtown Disney, utilize some of the discounts that they have over there for food, maybe something else, and then just like constantly keep refreshing the Twitter feed to see what new is popping up.
What's happening, yeah.
And now they're like, great, there's these cool panels at night now too, going all the way through like 8-9 o'clock at night. Like,
even on Sunday.
Holy cow.
Like Sunday last year closed a lot. I feel like it closed a lot earlier, but they have stuff going. They have the Alan Menken.
Yeah, they got a concert. They've got the Alan Menken thing.
They have Jonas Brothers doing a
Joe
live
Bros
podcast.
are doing a podcast. Yeah, exactly.
Muppets.
Seth Rogen. It's not Seth Rogen. Seth MacFarlane and Muppets. Yep. Crazy. They're rolling out the red carpet for things here. D23 just keeps getting bigger and better every time.
It does, and it's just going to be harder and harder to get in.
It really does. I feel like because of the whole Honda Center of it all, like this is something that I hope that other conventions look at as a model. Like I think if Star Wars Celebration is back at Anaheim anytime soon, that they utilize that for like the big whatever panel it is, because it allows more people to get in there.
Yeah, like, and on top of it, it's so fun to just be in that space knowing you're the first one that sees that trailer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ends up online as soon as it finishes. But it's so cool to be in that space watching the things you love. Like, I remember, and my friend took video, Lin-Manuel Miranda walking out with The Lion King last time, and I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, and I was just like, this is so cool. I'm like, I'm on the topmost seat you could possibly be in.
Yeah.
But watching him walk out on stage, and they announced the live action Moana, which just came out, and The Rock was out there, and they were doing the whole Polynesian dance to introduce. It's so cool to see.
It's amazing. And you get to experience it with 20,000 other people. So like you're with like-minded people, and it's like this religious rock concert kind of experience that only
if you're nerds,
they can pull it out. Yeah. It's incredible, and it's even cool to see as people are recording it and releasing all the updates and details that they can online for all of us that can't get in there. But I'll tell you what, they've got great deals over at Downtown Disney for restaurants during this week here. Mm-hmm. So folks, you're not missing out if you actually don't get to.
They have stuff going up the week leading to. So like if you're local, there's other stuff to do. They do something. They're doing
just about every night
at the baseball game. They're doing movie stuff. Mm-hmm. D23 Day at the park is open to everyone, and they're doing a princess concert in the park with Susan Egan and all of them.
Can't beat it. It's a great time. It's a great
lot
time
going on. Even if you're not actually in the convention, it's amazing.
That's right. It's the place to be. And coming out of San Diego Comic-Con, like it's going to have a lot of wonderful announcements and cool things and the first look exclusives. So keep the tabs open, folks. Follow all the social medias. Make sure you're up to date with all that so you can follow along with the adventures. And speaking of that, Dani, where can the folks find you if they want to follow along with your adventures at D23 or just to hear the cool podcast that you're doing?
So I can be found at Not the Droids Pod on all of the things. I will be posting from there a lot and for Star Wars specific things, but for general use, I will link it on there. But I have, because I'm crazy, I have 2 other accounts. So I will also be following Lorcana on one side and then everything else on my main account, which is Magic Gal Adventures. But it'll all be posted on Not the Droids Pod of where you can find what information you're looking to. Because my co-host is coming to D23 for the first time this year.
Amazing.
So we're going to be able to tag team some of that if we don't get to things. We're going to be in Star Wars crossover cosplay on Saturday that we're very excited for.
Nice.
So we're doing Princess Jedi looks.
Ooh, there you go.
So it's very exciting.
Well, that sounds like a blast, and we'll be following along as we'll also be there too. So folks, make sure you're following along with all the Force Ghost Conversation social channels. Of course, all the links are in the episode description, and we look forward to being as close to boots on the ground that we can for everybody as possible. We'll try and get in all the panels and all that and keep you all updated appropriately with what we are doing each and every day. And that is all I have for this week. You have been officially prepped for D23. We'll do a recap episode once we're done and back and recovered from all things. So be on the lookout for that in just a couple weeks as well. And you'll get some snippets from what we actually talk about on the show floor. So we'll be running into people. We know a lot of friends will be there this time. We'll get some sound bites. We'll get reactions. We'll talk all things D23 for a couple weeks here as we head into this big season of the convention. And until then, folks, may the Force be with you. Take care.
Thank you.